All right, what is going on, y'all? I'm really excited about today's breakdown. It's not every day when you're inspired by a piece, when you watch it and say, man, I wish I would have shot that or shot something like it. Oh, my friends, today is that day. We're looking at a piece by Neha Sharma. She shot this in India. It's about the farmers' protests. So let's dive in. All right, cool. So let me just scrub through a little bit and we're going to see what we're going to look at. Okay, so we got some fantastic shots from the bonfire and we're going to see why all these images look so striking to us. Okay, I'll just stop about there and then we're going to continue looking later on. And this is basically at a campsite from the protests of these farmers and we're going to look at why all these shots look so stunning. Okay, so I want to start with this first shot. We're going to start off with a bonfire here and we have a light source coming from here that's shining just enough light onto this man's face over here, creating just enough contrast from his right side to his left side. And we're talking about that fall off that was coming here, and of course nice little bit of lighting on the other side of the shadow here. Okay, now I want to scrub through to a shot that I love in this piece. So right here you have this large part of this man's body keeping in the shadows, keeping down here. I mean, that's representing his clothing here. And because of our light source here, we're shining backlit. Okay, we just have on the tip a nice outline that we're forming here, a nice outline of light, and that's really building us a contrast and a three-dimensional look in this shot. And of course, once again, we still have more street lights coming here, giving us a nice contrast on his face, really setting a mood here. Okay, now let me play this scene right here.
Thousands of farmers have been protesting on the outskirts of the Indian capital, Delhi. The Singhu border has become the epicenter of the protests.
And you gotta love that even in the background, even though this fire is being shot in slow-mo, she brought up the ambient sound of the crackling wood and the crackling fire underneath that. That's really creating a beautiful effect here. So that audio would be shot in real time and being placed under a slow motion shot. Okay, let's keep going. And now there's going to be a series of overlays
Who continue to brave the bitter cold and rain and refuse.
All our color here is staying right up into the darks, and we have these peaks. That's what the fire is creating, and it's not peaking. So she's letting the fire just come up to the top here, and all the levels are sorted out around the fire, around the level of the fire.
Down. I am Rupa Jha, and I've come to spend a night at the Singhu border. I'm not here to debate the laws which have angered the farmers. I'm here to simply understand.
When you get a shot like this when you're out filming, I mean, you already know you have this shot before you come home and start putting it into the edit. But I mean, just look at the lighting here. It's a very stark fall off here, but it looks stunning, and a nice eye light in his eye. Now this is natural lighting. It's not like you brought lights to create this effect. So it's all about when you're out walking, you're looking for these sharp bits of light. You have dark, light, dark, light, dark. So it's creating that layered effect in your shot that is really making this stand out. And I'm sure as Neha's walking around these sites, she's looking for these scenes and these shots that are going to create this effect and really create intrigue. It's about intriguing the audience, intriguing the viewer to keep the visuals interesting and fascinating so that the story can be told. Okay, let's go through a little bit. So we're back at our man singing here. Now I think this light is coming from more of a red light coming over on his face. I don't think this is actually campfire light. I don't think it's a fire, but because the light is staying even, so she picked a location with an even light to continue making this shot where this man can sing for a long period of time, a traditional folk song that's laying as a bass track, a score that comes up throughout this piece.
A soldier in the Indian Army. He says he is unfazed because he has fought battles in much.
So it's a nice section to introduce this interview that we're going to see here. We start off with a shot that's really kind of shooting from the back. And once again, we have the light coming from the other side that's creating this beautiful contrast of highlight on his face. Now, if the light would have been just all over his left side, his left cheek, you're not going to create the same mood and the same texture, the flattering look of this man's face, where you have a highlight, it fades to dark, and then nice little highlights on his face. Okay, this is beautifully shot. And then we're going to come to a reveal where he's talking to the reporter, and then we're probably going to come up to the shot of him speaking. And there it is. Let's do this in full screen.
हिल साइड में भी रहे हैं तो हमारे को तो ये ठंड ठुंड का कोई परवाह नहीं है, तो इसलिए हम यहाँ पर रह रहे हैं जब तक हमारा हक नहीं मिलेगा हम आपसे.
I mean, this is great. In terms of the lighting, this is exactly what we want to see. You know, you have the light coming up from the opposite side of the camera. Camera's over here, filming this way. Light's coming here. Nice outlines on his face. Fades to dark over here. Beautiful highlights here on that other side of the cheek. Just having flatness over somebody's face is not going to create a flattering look where it's even light from left to right. You want to have contour and contrast even in the face. But even here, they're creating that same effect where you're having light coming from one side, come here, and there's a soft roll off right here. It's very soft, very subtle, and looks beautiful. And based on the sharpness and how it falls soft, she's probably shooting between 50 and 70 millimeter, and I don't know, between an f2 and an f4 to create this fall off from being sharp into our softness. Okay, let's go forward a bit. Wow, I mean, look at that. You know, this is, talk about a transition here.
In September,
I mean, that's lovely to show this. This is coming off of his arm now that I see. But because this shot opens up quite out of focus, you have the time to use this as a transition now. And boom, into the face. What Neha is doing here is consistent movement. There's always movement in the shots from one shot to the next.
stored and sold. The laws allow private players a great
Keeping movement in the camera and changing the focus, rack focusing from this man to this.
march to Delhi. They clashed with police firing tear gas, but that did not stop them laying siege to the capital.
Very nice use of the gimbal here, just to bring the viewer in on a ride. Slow and steady, not obvious, and bring you into the conversation. Okay, so it's probably the next morning. Everything's now coming in on that orange light of sunrise. Okay, fires are still burning. Of course, we're always exposing for our fire first and taking the rest of the level, which is all this, around the fire.
At Singhu, where I am, farmers wake up at the crack of dawn to prepare meals for themselves and all those who have gathered in support regard.
Okay, so this is why you stay up all night. It's to catch the sunrise. You know, you have this beautiful light coming through. A man is bathing himself, and these beautiful rays of light that are coming from the sun or whatever light source this is over here. And we have a nice hazy feel this morning. Okay, once again, Neha is using this great effect of slow-mo in this shot. And underneath, she's also recorded the sound of the water falling from this bucket. And so she just embedded that under the slow-mo shot so that it's connected. You can't, because a lot of times in slow-mo, you can't play the sound back in slow-mo. So you have to use both together to make it watchable.
Of religion, caste, or gender.
Okay, beautiful transition. Let me play that back and let's talk about why this works so well. So first of all, she's shooting now in a very shallow depth of field and rack focusing the whole time because she's got to get our focus down from our man here into what he's pounding. And the whole time the focus stays where it's supposed to be. Okay, and you'll see when she cuts in this edit, she's going to cut right on the action. Right on the last hit is when it's going to cut. The movement is done, and the last pound happens, and the shot cuts. Let me play that back.
Regardless of religion, caste, or gender.
Very smooth cut. Okay, we move on to our bonfire shot.
Of farmers dying during the protests. So, in honor of them,
Lit up beautifully by the fire. Got nice catch light in his eyes. A nice bit of contrast here. All the light is coming beautifully. We're going to have an awesome move into this man's face. And look how beautiful and how sharp the eye is when we land on the eye.
just do have a wish.
Beautifully lit. All the little catch lights in here. Fantastic fall off from the sharp to the soft focus here. And look at how everything is lit here. Everything's just keeping it way down here because that's where it is. It's nighttime. They're by the bonfire. You see right here, this bit of this uptick here is the catch lights in here. And that's all you need. You want to show that variance. And it's dark. It's nighttime. You're by the bonfire. That's the look we're going for. 2 more shots by the bonfire. Beautiful bit of sparks coming through. All the light is up here. And our next shot, we follow the flames up and the piece ends. Look at this ending here. Okay, great. So that's one of my favorite pieces I've seen in a long time. It's inspiring me. I hope it inspires you. I love breaking down what I like about these pieces, so I hope you guys will continue to follow along and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to leave a link in the description to this video. I think it's amazing and it deserves to be seen from beginning to end. Okay, thanks a lot, y'all. Catch you in the next one. Peace.